everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Don't Give Up the Ship podcast. It's episode 56. Today, I got to talk to a really interesting group of junior sailors that are doing some awesome things. So I've been following them on social media for quite a while. One of them was one of my A school students a long time ago in a land far, far away. And they founded an organization on board the USS Hopper called Life Promotions. And I've mentioned it a few times in episodes, kind of pointing out that type of thing is happening. And I finally got to talk to a team of sailors from that ship that founded it, continue to be involved in and run it. And it was really cool getting to learn about it. And just the biggest thing, and I talk about it in the interview, is seeing junior sailors proactively solving problems. And they didn't wait for a permission slip. They didn't wait for a nav admin or direction from on high. They just did it. They saw a problem and they fixed it. And what you see, and what my friend Jeff Bayless likes to say, is that when you start doing those things, the world will conspire to help you. And that's exactly what happened. They got an incredible amount of support from their chain of command. And now organizations outside of the ship are taking notice and asking for the blueprint and help implementing it in their units. It's incredible to see. And I've talked about it for a long time that I wish more of this happened. A lot of really intelligent, high-functioning junior sailors out there recognize a problem and can vocalize exactly what that problem is and propose solutions to fixing it, but then we don't cross that threshold into action. And this is a really, really great example of doing that and that it can work. So I hope you guys enjoy the interview. If you could help us out, give us a like, share, subscribe, get the reviews on iTunes, all the things. It helps us get the word out, tells the algorithms that people want to see the stuff and starts putting it in front of the people that need it. So any help would be appreciated, like always, and enjoy the interview. All right, awesome. So like we talked about before, we'll start with introductions for the three of you, and then we'll get into how you guys got started with Life Promotion.
All right, sounds good.
Go ahead.
All right, so my name is ET2 Cruz. I'm on the USS Hopper. This is my first ship, and we have started this awesome initiative, I believe. It's the Life Promotion Program.
I'm CS2 Julia Malbro. This is my second ship, and I'm one of the Life Promotion advocates.
Okay.
I am OS3 Naomi Fincham, and I'm on the USS Hopper first ship, and I'm also one of the Life Promotion advocates. Awesome.
So, yeah, if you could just kind of get into like how Life Promotion started, like what was the event that kind of got, I don't know like who the founding members were and all that. So just get into all that, like how you guys saw a gap that needed to be filled and whatever problem presented itself, and then how you went about forming Life Promotion.
All right. So how Life Promotion got started, we were a group of sailors that were attending a leadership course. It was during the month of suicide awareness. We had attended a Living Works training. It was the ASSIST training for the Applied Suicide Intervention Skills training. It was actually really an impactful experience for us. We got together and we had to share some of our emotional stories, some stuff that happened in our past that we all sort of began to empathize with each other, and we realized back on the ship this sort of community, this sort of togetherness is what was needed on the ship. So we brought it back to our command. We already had a suicide prevention coordinator, as every ship I believe does have.
Yeah.
We started with just sort of ideas on how we can make this into a group and what we wanted to tackle. The biggest thing was when it comes to the whole suicidality of the Navy was some concepts. People can either feel thwarted belongingness, like they feel alone, or they feel like they perceive themselves as a burden. And then there's also finally the capability for suicide. Out of those three aspects, the two that we were trying to prevent was the feeling of isolation and the feeling of being a burden. So what we ended up doing was we started creating events. One of our first events ever was the Life Promotion Ice Cream Social. We got together, just on a location. We brought a whole bunch of ice cream onto the ship. We had a little water balloon toss contest that first started off, and we just gathered folks together and we had conversation. I know in the Navy we all live together in a ship, and it's hard to believe that we're actually alone, but sometimes between the work life and the personal life, people don't get a chance to share with them what's going on a more deeper emotional level. So from there, we then saw other people also interested in trying to help out other shipmates that they had. So we began certifying people to become advocates. We would send them over to the chaplain to also attend this suicide sort of prevention course as a way to help them be able to know the resources and how to help other sailors in need. We have tried to bring everyone into a group and socialize, to meet and socialize each other. We even held a couple of game nights where we just brought some pizza down to one of our spaces, maybe like the classroom, and we even had the commanding officer come down and play some Madden with us. It was actually a really fun experience, just
That's cool.
in the middle of a work day, take a nice break. Could you say that one more time?
I was just laughing. I said it was cool.
Yeah, it is really cool, actually. He's still the reigning champion, though, so it's
Nice.
actually pretty funny. But yeah, no, we had people definitely, it just built a lot of camaraderie around the ship. It was just simple events like that, just taking a few, maybe hours out of the work schedule to just say, hey, let's talk to our sailors. Let's just focus on talking to each other. And me personally, running around the deck plates, I see a lot of people. Sometimes they hang their head a little low. It really helps. It goes a long way, just a little question of, hey, man, how's it going? And how can you feel? How can I help you? One of our founding fathers, OSC Naylor, he brought up this quote to me that I still hold with me today, and I try to bring that philosophy into the program. It was, I would rather be proactive than reactive. Obviously, the suicide prevention training was a lot of deal towards how to bring someone back from the edge of suicide. But what he said is, if this program turns out to be like an MWR 2.0, then that's fine. At least we took care of the sailors when they needed it before we actually had to intervene. And that's kind of where the whole camaraderie, these events come out of. We've had actual several other ice cream socials, aside from the first one. And we've also had some snow cone events. We also had more game nights. Yeah. And we also, my favorite program was when we had Christmas stockings for all the liveaboards on the ship. Since
nice.
Obviously going to a new command,
That's
it's really
cool.
difficult. You're away from your family, away from your friends. Sometimes people show up around Christmas. We had some stockings held out for them, filled it with candy, some inspirational quotes, and we had some hot cocoa in the bags as well, just so they can feel a little merry around the holidays.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Like, I think the coolest part of the program for me and what drew me to it was that you guys are proactive. And it's like, that was one of the things that, like, I was a full speed ahead facilitator a few years in a row. And it's like the delivery method and kind of what they focus on seems still to be sort of reactive. And it's like, I understand why people look at problems at what I perceive to be symptoms of a problem. And they're like, oh, let me address that symptom, instead of getting to the root of the problem. Like it feels like you guys are doing, and looking at it like, why does a sailor want to attempt suicide, or why do they feel isolated, or why do they feel like they got nowhere to go, and then start addressing those issues directly, which you're doing through these events, through things like those Christmas stockings. Like that's freaking cool, man. Like, I've been that sailor before, and that would mean a ton for a sailor that, especially being new to a command, maybe they haven't made friends yet, maybe they haven't like assimilated into their work center yet, and then on a holiday when they want to be home and maybe they're not, they have something like that to make them feel a little like at least valued and recognized. You know what I mean? That's really cool.
That's right, yeah. And once we also shared that sort of love towards them, they also decided to get more interested in the program too. It's kind of like our program is just feeding off itself. We help other sailors, and then sailors look at us and say, well, how can we help other people like you helped us? It kind of keeps on growing until the whole command's kind of infected with it.
That's awesome. And how, like, it sounds like you're at least your CO's involved. How involved is the command? Is it something that you guys have like kind of hardwired into the culture of the command, but at this point, or are you still kind of fighting for recognition a little bit?
Oh yeah, they've been backing us up all the way. We're 100%
Awesome.
supported by our chain of command. We've even actually recently we attended the Joint Base Pearl Harbor Suicide Prevention Proclamation, and we actually
Okay.
got to witness that signing as one of the resources. So when people saw us next to every other booth, like the military one source and the fleet family, they saw our
That's cool.
faces, they saw us wearing yellow, and they said, "Hey, well, if you ever need someone to talk to, we are here on the USS Hopper, and we can help you out." We actually got to see those officers, high-ranking officers, just come together and sign a proclamation. It was really impactful, I think.
That's cool. Did you, through events like that, or maybe just through like exposure on social media, have you guys had other commands kind of reach out and say, "Hey, what is this? Like, what are you guys doing? And like, how can we do it?"
Yes, we are currently slowly working on getting other commands involved too. I know a lot of them have expressed interest. This a program, while it spreads like wildfire, it also is basically word of mouth, which is why we're trying to get as much publicity as we can here and there.
Awesome. Well, hopefully this helps.
I hope so too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries, man. So anything else you want to get out real quick before we shift over?
No, I think that was pretty good. We can shift over to Marlboro now.
Awesome.
Are we ready?
Yeah. Are you ready, CS2? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So like, let's talk about your piece of the pie, CS2. Like, what have you guys accomplished this year as far as organizationally? Like, I know you guys started it out and then it's grown and more people are getting involved, but like, what are some of the big leaps forward that you guys have seen happen this year?
So this year alone, we did 2 big events that we were able to get the whole entire command involved in. So we started off with the Step Up Challenge and I believe February.
Okay.
So
what is the Step Up Challenge?
So we got the whole event or the whole command to go to the gym, and we had an organization led by Radiant Rain. So it was a challenge where we did a bunch of workouts, but the point of the challenge was to get everybody to step up, not just physically, but mentally with Team 70, as we say. And so the purpose of it was to step up to help somebody or to step up to get help.
Yeah.
In the end, we also signed a declaration, saying that within Team 70 that we are there to help somebody, but we're also there to step up for ourselves.
Okay.
In that event alone, we had not just Radiant Rain leading the way, but we had our life promotion advocates throughout the workout, giving out information, resources, walking around just saying like, "Hey, we're here." So that was a big sign right there. Also, we had USO at the end providing us snacks, drinks, and just being there to support us, and also getting our message out afterwards.
Okay.
So afterwards, of course, COVID-19 occurred.
Yeah.
So in Hawaii alone, we are still currently at the stay-at-home order, and we have to social distance ourselves still.
Right.
But we came up with this other challenge, the Squad Challenge, or Team 70 Squad Challenge. So the goal for this one was to keep everybody active and to challenge everybody else around us to stay active during the stay-at-home orders. So we challenged not only our life promotion advocates, but we challenged our own CO. I know admirals were challenged, chiefs, senior chiefs, master chiefs. Yeah. So this challenge alone spread like wildfire.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one. Even though you did it the way you did it because of the COVID stuff, like I've seen that thing pop up on my timeline like 70 times, and I think you challenged me, and I did not do it because I didn't want to do it. I don't know if you have you guys listened to the podcast at all recently? Like, is it something that you guys found out about through me?
I think our QMC did.
Okay, yeah. So, and don't freak out, CS2, because you know me, but I found out I have cancer like a month ago, and I had a tumor removed. So, like, I just got done with surgery, and I can't like do anything physical quite yet. So that's the only reason I ignored your squat challenge.
It's okay. That's understandable.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So a lot of people were challenged, but I
Mhm.
think what really set it off is the fact that a lot of leadership got involved. So when junior sailors see that, they're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, they actually care and they're actually
Yeah.
doing it. That
Yeah.
itself spread so fast. And I mean, we got so many people involved outside of the command alone. So that was really a good sign.
That's cool too to see, like, a lot of times, and I would be shocked if you didn't disagree, but if you do, please tell me. Like, the people look at chiefs and they think they're like not human anymore. Like, they came out of their
Correct.
mom as a chief and they're just like this robot that has no feelings and just
Right.
like drinks coffee and combs their mustache all day. And it's like, that's not. I understand why, because like I was a junior sailor once, contrary to popular belief, and I remember what it felt like when I had a chief that I felt like was out to get me, or I felt like they didn't care, or I felt like they were being insensitive. And a lot of times it was just a misunderstanding thing based on perspective, right? Like, I didn't understand why they were keeping me at work late or pushing me really hard or like not letting me get away with stuff or whatever, not letting me
Right.
go home early. And now, having been in that position for a long time, I understand a lot of that. So it's like to see them get humanized like that on social media that's a big thing for sailors to realize that, like, oh, these are just people that are doing a job, like, and they care about me, because otherwise why would they do something like that?
Right, like Cruz had mentioned earlier, our leadership is very supportive, and they alone got involved with our challenges. They were promoting it. They were tagging higher ups. So yeah, that alone showed them supporting us through
That's awesome.
everything that we're doing.
That's awesome. So we can shift over to Fincham.
Correct.
Did I say that right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to talk to you guys all about our Facebook page that we started. So actually, I created the Facebook page so that way it was like a way for everybody to be able to post on our page and actually see how involved the command was being, and like how we can share like not only our organization but also like our fellow like CSAD and like multicultural, just be able to show like everybody, our family and friends, that we're actually involved with activities, not just sitting around, go to work and then go home and do nothing.
Right. That's cool. Yeah. And
we actually started doing like a sailor in the spotlight. So we've been like, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, like, I do that sometimes. I just kind of acknowledge what you're saying. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, we actually started the sailor in the spotlight. So we're trying to record every single sailor on the ship just to kind of share like what they've been doing. So we just ask them like where they're from, what do they do on the ship, who do they go to for advice, what do they do when they're feeling like low, like how do they keep themselves motivated through every single day. We also ask like if they have any advice. So it's very nice to hear when our fellow shipmates are actually giving out advice, because it's not just the same life promotion advocates. We're actually trying to get junior sailors involved, because our organization is mainly junior sailors. We try to show that we're all together, not just khaki that you can go to. We want to be able to say like junior sailors is somebody you can all like, we've all been there basically.
Yeah.
We know exactly how it feels.
And that's huge too, because like if a junior sailor's like in a bad place, they're gonna feel a lot more comfortable going to one of their peers than they are going and knocking on the chief's mess. Like, who's gonna do that? It's like you'd have to have the best chief's mess ever and have like created this crazy environment where nobody's scared to go knock on that door. And that's just like, I don't know that that's true anywhere. So it's an intimidating thing for like an E3 to go like, oh, chief, I'm having this issue. Even if it's with like, they have to go admit that they're having trouble, like just like picking up a skill or something. You know what I mean? Like, so I can't imagine the type of like courage it would take for a junior sailor to walk up and tell their chief that they're struggling with mental health issues. So like it makes a ton of sense for you guys to approach it from that angle, where it's like you're normalizing the practice of a junior sailor coming to one of their peers and just letting them know, hey, like I'm struggling, and using the people around them as a resource.
Exactly. That's exactly like our whole point. We actually try to, every new sailor that comes in, we actually try to have like our advocates, mainly one of us three, go talk to them just so that they know, like, you don't have to go straight to your chief, because most of these
Right.
people come out of boot camp and they understand that you got to work your chain of command. You can't just go straight to chief. So we want them to know, like, come to us first. Like, let us kind of help you out first, and yeah, get comfortable with us, and then we'll kind of walk you up to make sure you're just comfortable throughout the whole process, not just straight to your first class or chief kind of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, we're actually trying to spread it to other ships. We already have been talking to fellow CMC. Our Master Chief has been talking to them to try and get us to go over there and teach them. So
Okay.
In the beginning, like how we got qualified as advocates, we had our lieutenant teach us. So since we were like the first ever group to actually get qualified, we're actually, the advocates on Hopper are going to actually train other ships to be advocates. So it's kind of cool that we're like the seed of the pot, that we're just going to grow all these people.
That's really cool. Yeah. Have you guys had any conversations about like writing it all down? And I'm not saying like necessarily like an instruction, right? Where we like, you're like formalizing everything and it becomes like a a procedure, but
yeah, we made bylaws actually. So
awesome.
It's basically like other organizations like CSAD, where they'll have like a president, vice president, a treasurer, just everything.
Yeah.
Like a normal organization, but it's still in the process of getting approved, because we are like the first group to actually do this.
I was going to say too, just so you guys don't lose any of it, like as far as like when people start transferring and it's a one organization thing, a lot of times like you can create something amazing like this. And then when you guys start leaving, it's like maybe some people sort of pick it up and then it fades away, and it's like to put it on paper so that it can get passed down and spread to other organizations using the same model. It'd probably help to have it all written down.
Yeah, we had OC Naylor. He was our main person that was actually spreading all this, trying to contact other ships. But now, since he's leaving, we have QMC Congello, and he's actually been doing a great job reaching out to all these different people.
That's who I was talking to. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's great at getting our name out there. And
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, just exposing us to everything.
So what are, besides spreading it to other organizations, which I think is amazing, and I think that's definitely something you guys should be focused on, because I think a lot of people would benefit from it, but what are some of the future plans that you guys see kind of down the road as you're able to devote more time to it, or even just like as the organization matures?
Well, we mainly, our big focus is obviously becoming a committee, but we definitely want to have an organization on every single ship, because there has been incidents on other ships that a lot of the times these people just didn't have people to talk to. So our big focus is, when the COVID-19 is over, is to actually go over to these ships and actually talk and recruit people and get this message out. It's kind of hard right now because of the COVID, so that's why we're barely on the Facebook page, but that's our big focus after all this.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. Like I hope that goes that way, because like I think that's part of the, I don't know, that's part of the thing that I think is missing a lot of the times where you find sailors struggling, is like they just don't have that peer-to-peer interaction. They don't have a place where they can go and like be vulnerable and have those conversations. Because like I talked to a girl recently, she's a veteran, she separated from the military, but her and a few other people started a group called Saving Sailors. Have you guys heard of that?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have like a Facebook page that you can like and follow, but they have like a private group. They do. And it's only private because they're really concerned about curating it properly. And like, so it doesn't turn into like those Facebook groups that are all just memes and people like talking crap. It's like, there was a couple incidences where they like were worried about it. And so they just made it a private group, but it's a really cool structure where it's exactly what you guys are describing, but kind of like on social media. So like people can come together and have conversations and just know there's a place that they can go where there's people that'll listen and there's not going to be judgment. And it's a lot of it is peer to peer in that they're all either have experiences or are in a bad place right now. And so they're just having those conversations. And it's really cool. If you guys haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend checking it out. And I can give you a point of contact for it too, to get added to the group. But it's a place that we can promote it. Yeah, I was going to say it's a place that you guys could refer people to. It's a place where you guys could be in there like helping people out. It's definitely a resource, that's for sure. But yeah, no, that's really cool. I'm really like, I'm happy that there's something like you guys like doing what you're doing because of the proactivity piece of it. It's really important that and not just the proactivity piece of it, but that it's junior sailors being proactive. Like it's something that I've said a bunch of times and I usually get looked at skeptically or challenged on it, where it's just like you don't have to wait for a nav admin to come out. You don't need to wait for Big Navy to give you permission to do a thing. You can just identify a problem and fix it. And you guys have identified a problem and not just went about fixing it, but you went about fixing it in a way that's going to be readily acceptable to junior sailors who are the largest population that are dealing with that problem. Like, and that's what I think gets missed with a lot of the attempts from Big Navy to address this thing is like what's going to be digestible by junior sailors? Like, what are they going to be willing to accept and trust and actually utilize? Something like this, like something that's proactive and that's like by us for us kind of thing. Like it's really, really cool.
Yeah, we've actually had a lot of support throughout the fleet of other commands, COs and all that. So it's honestly really great to see that everybody's kind of supporting our organization. So hopefully we can actually spread it like wildfire and get it around. I definitely feel like it would help save a lot more sailors.
Yeah. And I really encourage you guys too to just have that piece of the conversation, because it's not just a mental health thing. Like it's like there's a ton of other things out there that either contribute to or that are completely unrelated, that a group of junior sailors that are motivated and intelligent and capable can just start solving that problem. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be just like suicide awareness. There's a whole like sexual assault, like all the other things that are going on in the military that are a problem. I bet you there's a whole bunch of super high functioning junior sailors out there that if they put their heads together could come up with a solution that looks like this, like as far as it's proactive and it's something that junior sailors are going to gravitate towards and trust, that like Big Navy might just not think of. And contrary to popular belief, Big Navy's going to be like, oh, okay, that works. Let's do that. You know what I mean? Like they're open to the type of innovation and feedback that like you guys are providing by creating something like this. It's something that a lot of times they'll be working on creating a thing to address a problem, but they're so far removed from the everyday life of a petty officer third class on the deck plate that they miss the mark a little bit. And they try to figure it out. They do focus groups and they solicit feedback and they go to ships and ask questions, but it's like there's always that like there's 7 degrees of separation between them and the junior sailors on the deck plate. So it's like, for you guys to create something like this, and it's a great example of that type of just resourcefulness and ingenuity and just like allowing junior sailors the voice, like to say, hey, there's this problem and we have a really good idea to fix it, instead of stifling that, saying, okay, fix it. Let me know what you're going to do and we'll talk about it. And then just encouraging you from there. And it's like, this is really cool. And I hope that lesson gets taken out of this too, is that there's a lot more to this than just that. Not that the life promotion piece of it isn't the most important part, but there's also that lesson there that like, hey, junior sailors can fix problems too, man. Just get out of their way. Like it's amazing. Yeah. It's one of the most powerful leadership lessons I ever learned, was just to shut up and get out of my guy's way. And that shockingly, they would show me that there's a better way to do it, or that they can just handle it on their own or fix the problem with like a little like guidance from me, or just, you know, oversight. And once in a while they'll turn around and ask me a question. But other than that, it's like, a lot of times I just need to get out of their way and they would start solving problems.
And actually helps build like the junior sailors kind of leadership skills too, that be able to like kind of break out of their shell just
For
around
sure.
their peers first. That way, as they progress and people come under them, they know how to share exactly like what they've been through to like kind of teach them. And just to trust everybody around, you know?
Yeah, that's a super powerful thing. Like I did a podcast with this BMC named Jason Thompson recently that I haven't released it yet just because I'm a little ahead right now. But by the time this comes out, it'll be out. And he was a guy that went through a bunch of stuff growing up and just kind of bottled it up. And by the time he was a first class, it was like it kind of boiled over when he was an instructor, and he ended up in a mental institution where he dealt with his problems over a period of time. And then once the treatment was wrapped up and he was in a good place, he had to get cross-rated because his clearance, basically his credit took hits because he wasn't paying his bills because he was dealing with his mental health struggles destructively. But when he got out of the hospital and squared everything away, he was able to transition into another career field, which was boatswain's mate, and he made chief, and he's a super high functioning dude out there deploying and doing great things. And it's like a super great example of somebody that like learned a ton, went through a crazy experience that involved like getting removed from his unit and getting mental health treatment on like a really, really involved inpatient level. And then coming back out and being a high functioning, productive member of the Navy. And it's like a lot of times that fear is there where it's like they're worried that it's going to affect my career and it's going to affect all these other things. And it's like there's so much to learn from all of it. And that he was such a just crazy good example of sharing this story so that people could look at him and his experiences and be like, oh, holy crap, like a guy can go through all that and still be okay. You know what I mean? And still be, even if he wasn't in the Navy, but still be okay. And that he's willing to share his experiences. Like I haven't seen better examples of like somebody saying all those things. And then like, you'll just see the comments or the interactions from junior sailors or just anybody where they're just like, man, thank you so much for sharing that. And like, it made such a big impact on me. It's exactly what I wanted to hear or needed to hear. And like, and it made me feel okay about talking about the stuff I went through. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it blew my mind. That dude's experiences were crazy. Like when that comes out, I highly recommend listening to it. It's one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. And it's just like, it blows my mind. And there's a couple other buddies that have done the similar things where they just talk about their story, and just talking about it. Like, not only does it help normalize it, but it makes it okay for other people to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? And that's really cool. That's what I liked about your guys' model too, is you just normalize it. Like if your CO's involved and your CMC's involved and the chiefs are on Facebook doing 70 squats, it's like everybody's involved, like everybody's in on it. So it's like, it's okay to talk about this stuff because life promotion does it all the time. And that's what we do here. And that's how the culture of the command is. And the more you normalize it, the more ready and willing these people are going to be to talk about it.
Yeah, it's honestly a great how far we've all come and how much support everybody's doing. We try not to share stories like about personal people, like about ourselves, because obviously every single person has a story. But we just try to like get it out there that everybody's gonna get through it, kind of thing. You know, like we all go down, whether it's family issues, money, work, personal. There's issues in a whole circle. It could be anything. It could just be you stubbed your toe. You know, there's issues that affect people differently. So it's great that we have so many different faces and rates and ranks that you can pick whoever you'd want to go talk to. We just have a face out there saying like, we're here to talk. Pick whoever you want.
That's cool. Well, awesome. Do you guys got anything else you want to tackle? Anything else you want to talk about?
We just want to thank you actually for reaching out to us and actually letting us do this podcast.
Hey, no problem. Like, thanks for doing it. This is really cool. I was really excited that you guys were willing to do it and that you got a group together to do it, which was really cool. But like I said, God, I'm really just encouraged by the fact that this even exists. Cause like you have conversations and I've had conversations. I don't know if you guys go on Reddit, but I post my podcast on Reddit. And if you want to see some raw, unadulterated feedback, oh my God, go on Reddit. So I posted on there and it's just junior sailors hiding behind a screen name, not hiding, but like they're behind the wall of a screen name. So it's like, I don't know who they are. And they're just destroying me about my opinions and like the point of views I have on certain things. And so I've been sitting there saying over and over and over again, like, you can solve your own problems. You don't need Big Navy to cut an ab admin. And it's just like to be able to point at something like this, especially for a topic like this, something that people look at as like unsolvable. And it's like, you guys figured this out. And it's just a bunch of junior sailors that got together and were like, how can we really fix this? And a lot of times you'll see these super high functioning junior sailors that are just so frustrated with like a problem that exists. And they're like complaining about it and like pointing at Big Navy and telling them they're doing it wrong and doing all these other things instead of spending that energy like you guys are, which is super productively and proactively attacking a problem and not waiting for permission to do it. And I know like that it's almost counterintuitive for sailors to like not wait for permission and just solve a problem. And it's not like you guys didn't involve your chain of command and ask for help and ask lots of questions, but you didn't wait for Big Navy to approve a thing. Like you guys just started addressing a problem, which I think is amazing. And I think more people should do it. And I think the model you guys are using is incredible. So like, I thank you for doing what you're doing. My podcast is just a thing. I mean, I just talk into a microphone, so it's whatever, but like you guys are devoting a large amount of your free time, I would imagine, to addressing a really serious issue. And it sure looks like it's working to me. I'm not a mental health professional, but watching what you guys are doing from the social media perspective and then talking to you now, it's like, this seems like a model that works to me. I mean, like, and I from your experiences, it sounds like it's working pretty well. So well done and keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much for having us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I apologize for some of the audio quality. It was a little choppy just with the logistics of putting the interview together, but it was still, I still really enjoyed talking to them. It was cool. They were a little nervous as well. And I thought they did a great job. And I'm sure they're hearing this. So you guys killed it. It was fine. I understand the nerves. I get nervous talking to people too. Like the last one that I did with the CMC from Nicole, like I was really nervous to do that one because it's a guy that I look up to. So again, great example of junior sailors solving problems. I just think this is incredible. I think it could happen a lot more. You could see this everywhere. And maybe there are more examples of it. And if I'm not aware of something similar that somebody wants to put in front of me, please do. As always, I'm always looking for people to talk to. So I really enjoyed talking to these kids, and I say kids, like these sailors. They're awesome. The CS2 was a student of mine, and then the other two sailors are just amazing that they got together, they did this, and that it's been as successful as it has. I hope to see it spread to other units. I hope to see it become a Navy program, and I hope to continue to see it done the way that it is on board the Hopper, because it works and people are really passionate about it. If you got anything for us, hit us up. Don't give up the ship podcast at gmail.com. You can Facebook message me. Don't give up the ship podcast. Or you can DM me on Instagram at dgutspodcast. We also are on Reddit. You can go to the sub dgutspodcast or just find me dgutspodcast and send me a message and DM me there and I'll get back to you as well. But yeah, if you need anything from us, as always, reach out, hit us up. Or if you got feedback, or if you see stuff like this happening out there and you want to put something like that in front of me, I'd love to talk to any and everyone. So hit us up. And that's it. That's what I got for you today. Thank you so much for listening, and don't give up the ship.